we have four major types of, well, a couple major types of reactions. We'll call them five. We have our combination. We have our decomposition. Our single replacement or displacement, depending on who you're asking. Your double and combustion. Those are your main categories of many different types of reactions. A combination is just two elements coming together to form one. So like zinc oxide plus CO2, when they come together, they form zinc carbonate. Two things coming together to form one. I could do water plus CO2 goes to carbonic acid. It doesn't matter. H2CO3. The idea is two things coming together to form one. Decomposition would just be the opposite. One thing breaking apart to form two. So, for example, two potassium chlorates will decompose to two potassium chlorides and three oxygens. It doesn't matter that there's three oxygens and two KCl's. The idea is one compound breaks apart into two compounds or two molecules, two different molecules. The single displacement looks very similar to the double displacement, but the single displacement basically has one element plus one compound, and then they swap places. The idea is that we switch from an element to a compound. The idea is, like say, if I had zinc plus iron oxide would go to zinc oxide and iron. So I'd kind of have to balance that. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 6, 6. Okay. Something like that. Something like that. No, I don't. I think I can simplify that. That goes down to 3, 1, 3, 2. Yeah. So, but the idea is that zinc, which is a solid elemental, is going to swap places with this iron and to make a oxygen-based compound. Going to swap places with that iron. And then the last type, the double displacement, it would be two compound, let's say compound A plus compound B swap places. So instead of having two elements, we have, say, sodium chloride and silver nitrate swap places to form silver chloride and sodium nitrate. So that essentially the sodium and the silver swap partners. And then, of course, combustion is just a fancy way of saying that element plus oxygen goes to CO2, an oxide. Element plus oxygen goes to an oxide in some combination, like H2 plus O2 goes to H2O, which is an oxide. You could do sulfur plus oxygen goes to sulfur dioxide. You could have iron plus oxygen goes to some sort of metal oxide. All these things are example of combustion. But typically it's carbon and hydrogen come together to form CO2 and water. So if I said methane plus oxygen would form what, CO2 and H2O. So that's the most common type of combustion, but really it's forming any type of metal oxide.